Morning guys, it's April the 5th, I'm Henry Green from London Trading Group, and I'm just going to run through what we're looking for the coming trading day. So start with euro dollar. So we've had pretty much three high tests now. Yesterday's bar wasn't such a high test, but certainly there was a rejection up there. But I do like this as a break, so I think that this test of 13.15 maybe gets tested again. And maybe we do come a little bit deeper, and as we talked about yesterday, maybe we were looking down towards 12 at 112.80, and an indecision day yesterday was probably what we expected to happen. So what's leading me to think that we potentially pull back in euro is on the weekly chart we've closed right at resistance, so I think that there needs to be a bit of a pullback off that before we can then trade higher. Now on the hourly fibs, as you can see here, we have already pulled back to 38 into the 38 zone equivalently. We're actually down at the 618, so this could now we have equivalently finished this this movement back, so we could now see this push up, and we're looking up towards 115, which I think is probably quite a good fade area should you get up there. 150, yeah, 115 for me is a really good zone to be looking to get into a short position in this one, so I'll be looking for it to get up there. However, I don't know whether it's going to happen today. What I'm going to look probably to do is fit a moving average that holds on these two dips here, maybe see if we will get a rejection off it again, but certainly at the moment we're just going sideways, and this is going to be quite a big range on something like a 5-minute or 15-minute chart, so you've got to be watching people who will be playing that as a range, and don't get chopped up in that. So for me, what I was waiting for was for a close above here, and I'm probably still going to look for that today. I think a close above 114.12 there, if you get a nice bullish close above that, I think that then does lead us higher. And likewise on the short side, let's see where this is going to come in. So yeah, I think I'd probably have this one in as well, so you could have this trend line in as well. Let's put that one in, and then what I'm looking for is probably, we have made, by looks of it, we're going to make a lower high here and go through the lows, and then we're obviously looking to sell through 113.57 and then back through the lows of 113.35 should this go lower. So on the day it looks like we potentially have rejected in. We've had 3 rejections off this high level, and yesterday we didn't even manage to get up to the highs yesterday, so we could now see this sell off today, and I'm probably going to be looking for the short side should we manage to close firstly through 113.78, and then I'm looking for a close through 113.57 as they're my 2 targets for my levels that I want to sell through. So cable had a day yesterday that I wasn't quite expecting. I actually expected this to continue its sell off yesterday. It didn't. Now as to why that happened, I'm not completely sure. The only thing I could say is that we hadn't actually pulled back to the 38, so we needed to complete this 38 retracement. We have got all the way back to the 61.8 now, so this is fine now for a sell. Often cable does this little bounce up before it then rolls over, so let's just wait and see what happens with this one. We are running into some good daily level of support down here, so I've got the daily trend line coming in, and I've got 2 levels of support as well. So all I've done is replicated this past market angle, so when this broke last time we did see some sort of sell off. Obviously it wasn't huge, and we actually missed quite a lot of the move to start with, so what you could do, you could probably put in a more aggressive line which kind of came in somewhere around here, but this would already be broken. So what I'm going to look to do is probably just wait for a 15-minute lower high. So let's have a look on this on a 15-minute chart, see what it looks like. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so it's a little bit better on this. So what you could say is that you had this, if you had this line in, these have been nice lower highs, you could have sold through all of these. So I'm just looking for potentially another lower high, and then look for it to take out the trend line, watch it through 141.90, then through the lows of 141.70, and then we could be away for this one. So this was the false break that happened yesterday, and then we rallied. So yeah, this is the key level now. We're looking for it to close through 141.90. You've got sort of 60 odd pips to play with until it gets down there. So I'll be looking to potentially take a small one in this one. Maybe just play the 15-minute pullback. So what you could do, you could fib this bit here. So if we just quickly fib this, let's see where we get to. It's often quite a good idea just because you know where it's going to stop. So like here's a perfect area to potentially see this market hold. So maybe we have one more blip down lower, and then we see a pullback, and then you're looking at 142.60 area as a potential sell for cable. So I like that as an idea. I think that was probably okay. And we are back in the buy zone if you do the up fib in this one. So we've completed one. It'd be nice if we completed the second one. However, that leads us a lot higher. So hopefully not. I mean, that does take us up to, where does that take us up to? Let's have a look, quickly look at where that gets to. That takes back up to 144. Now I can't really see it getting there. It looks, I don't know, that would have to take almost get back to the highs. So whether or not that happens in cable is another issue. Dollar yen is back down right at its lows. This is a D down here, so I do like this to hold. If we get a move down to 110.60 area, I like that to potentially hold there. This looks like it's in free fall, but the moves haven't been so fast. They've all pulled back to the 38, so I quite like that. These are like a continuous move, and what often happens is then it does play by the fib. So obviously you could get an overshoot because we are in the middle of nowhere, and surely there'll be some stops hidden potentially under sort of 110.65. So if you manage to blip through that, then that's good, but I'll be looking for a rejection to then potentially buy this back up again. I do like this at its lows, and what you could end up with today, it looks very bearish at the moment, but what you could end up with is a low test and it just closed back above 111.30, which would then lead to a significantly higher day tomorrow, I think, just like it did before. So I'm going to look for this to potentially reject down here and then look to buy it. So if we get a rejection down here at 110.60, if you clear some stops and then go higher, I think that makes sense. Also, what I've done is I've just taken this last move when we properly broke down from this move. So as you can see, it broke this angle line, retested it. We're on the same angle, we've broken it, so all I've done is I've just replicated the distance that we fell from last time, put it in here, and they kind of all line up around this 110.60 to 110.40 area. So I do like that as a low and a D, so there's a few things that made me think that potentially it stops there. Okay, dollar CAD, we look like we are trying to form this double bottom. Now, is there enough in this for me to buy this yet? Probably not. I'm just going to wait for, there's a few more things. I'd like that trend line to be, well, it has been taken out, that's not made a new low. So we have potentially, look, we could be bottoming out here. And this now, I'm waiting for this to go back through 133 is the key level that we need to get to. So why not trade it up there? Well, we're down at the 127, so we're going to need one pullback. So if we get to the 127, then that lines perfectly up. So what I'm going to wait for, guys, is this move to the 127, look to fade it at 132, back down to 130.125, and then that leads us perfectly to 133, and then that's the decision point, and hopefully we break out of that, so we could get the overshoot happening in that one. So that's what I'm going to wait for dollar CAD. Leave that fib in, so that's just the next fib up, which we're potentially looking for, and then we can look to play that when that unfolds, hopefully later in the week. Aussie's an interesting one. Aussie seems to do these pullbacks and then find levels. So, oops, let's put that back in, and then find these levels. So I like this down here at 75.70. Let's have a look at this one. I liked it up to 77.50 was my ideal sell zone, but it never quite got there, and we are just doing these fibs nicely on the downside. So the next fib takes us down to 75, which I've got as a level down there as well. So actually we could see this sell off. So if we go to a 15-minute chart now, let's have a look what it did yesterday. I mean, yesterday was just a continuous selling in Aussie, just kind of carried on rolling lower. So what we could see, so there's that the next outer trend line as well. So yeah, 75 I think is probably a good target for the Aussie. I don't think it will get there today. It's quite a long way down, and we seem to be having these quick blips up as well. So just be careful. You don't want to see this close above significant highs on the way down. So let's see where the current trend line is in at. So you could argue it's that one. Let's send this one out. Okay, yeah, so I'm looking for this kind of, before this high, it gets taken out, 76.85, then I don't think you can play the long side in this one yet, and it looks like it's going to continue on lower. So that's what I'm going to wait for in the Aussie. I think that's a little bit mixed up at the moment. I'm not completely sure where I think this one's going. If I had to pick a side, it would be the short side. And Kiwi had a big sell-off day yesterday, so we're back down at the support down at 67.90 now, so let's see what that looks like on an hour. Yeah, it would be good if this could, so it has kind of completed. I'm taking this as a completion, so any rejection and a high low here, maybe we reject off here now and we potentially go higher, because that's the 38 complete, good level of support. We're at the D on this 60 minutes, so I think a pullback here is probably necessary. I'm going to wait for a 15-minute high low and then buy through the highs. I think that makes sense, and then we could potentially look to trade this up, and it's a 15-minute D as well, so I think that could be quite a good one today. We're down at the DTR, I believe, as well. So there's a few things that look like Kiwi could point high here. The only thing I don't like is yesterday's strong bearish day, but that could have just been a bit of a relief to get back down to this support before it then pushes higher again. So I'm going to wait to see what happens in this. Maybe it's just an indecision day and then we go higher. Okay, guys, I hope that's been useful. As I said, feel free to leave any comments in the box below. Click subscribe to never miss a video again, and I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening.